South Africa has a very high standard of veterinary medicine, comparable with the best in the world. But, due to both cost and location, it's a harsh reality that less than 10% of pet animals have access to this. Of the remainder, approximately 28% can resort to animal welfare organizations, but only for basic primary health care. This means that in excess of 70% of all companion animals in the country have no access to healthcare at all.
We identify certain areas where there's no pet care, healthcare available for pets whatsoever, and we institute these pet population management programs. We come into a village, create a platform to inspire the community members into responsible pet care. We sterilize all the animals and provide all the other elements of primary health care, deworming, external parasite control, vaccinations, including the rabies vaccine. And afterwards, there is a maintenance program. So in future, these animals will be followed up and they will have a certain degree of help available.
We found Amy. Amy was a dog that had litter upon litter year after year. And we sterilized her in May and we were wondering how she was doing. She looks in pretty good nick and she's quite happy to see us, whining away to say hi. The interesting thing is she always lies on her back to show you. She saw us and she came down to say hi. She lay down immediately. She's a very shy dog as well, so she won't scoff in public. She eats very gently.
Yeah. Oh, I say.
The majority of animals within the town of WUPP itself were sterilized 6 months ago. Now it's the turn of the outlying villages and homesteads. Programs of this nature require considerable logistical planning, and EnviroVet CVC works either alone or in conjunction with many different animal welfare organizations. For this project, they are joined by the Cape Town-based African Tales, who enable the transfer of animals to and from the makeshift surgery, as well as handling much of the necessary documentation. Khanif and Bongani are busy bringing in a new batch of patients for their operations, while Janine and Renee have set about capturing 2 feral cats.
We operate according to the guidelines of ICAM, who provide guidance for pet population management programs, and we adapt this for South African conditions.
In South Africa, we don't have a pet overpopulation, which is the exact reason why we have to do this. Because the fact that there isn't a pet overpopulation, despite exponential growth being the natural product of normal pet reproduction, one has to address the reason for this. It must be because of high pet mortality due to poor nutrition, parasite infestation, infectious disease, and even owner destruction.
Now this indicates the absolute desperate need for owner education on responsible pet care, including obviously compassion and knowledge. When we initially arrive at these projects, we are often looked upon with a bit of suspicion. But if you just remain there and carry on doing what you know you have to do, you then gradually get curiosity, and then you get interest, and then you get participation, and then eventually total engagement, knowledge, and susceptibility to real education on sustainable and lasting pet care, including dignity, respect for life, realizing the importance of pet health to us humans.
We like to see this as a concerted effort between the community and the service provider, which is us. The community needs to want to have this done, and also to participate in having it done. One can see that this isn't a state-of-the-art theatre, but everything is perfectly sterile and the procedures are all taking place according to the Veterinary Council rules. Cara and Rian are both qualified animal welfare assistants. Every animal gets examined prior to the anesthetic before the operation and receives additional treatment for any peripheral problem that might have occurred. Every animal is weighed before it has the anesthetic. Obviously the anesthetic machine is also used, but we use that only really on the females because the procedure for the males is so short that by the time the intravenous anesthetic is worked out, the operation is done. Like this one.
With the operation notes complete, the animal is then handed over to the recovery team.
And they're all waking up at the same time now.
Some of the more sedated ones stay overnight and will remain in the lounge, which also doubles as a bedroom for 2 of the recovery volunteers, making for a sense of organized chaos at breakfast time.
We know each other only one day, eh? Remember this. I slept like in heaven. How better can it get?
With a throughput of up to 70 animals a day, an overnight stay is the exception rather than the rule. And where at all possible, those that come from nearby are returned to their owners on foot.
I can do that. Sterilization certificates for animals.
For the remainder, it's all aboard the truck, loaded with food, instruction leaflets, and operation certificates.
We find that the people are not reluctant to hand the animals to us. However, many of them want the assurance that the animal will come back alive and well and that there won't be any complications. In every village where we work, we strive to identify at least one individual who shows a specific interest in animal welfare, and then, after they've been trained, supply that person with a variety of medicines, specifically deworming and tick and flea control. We also like to give them access to veterinary care by letting them have an emergency telephone number, so that when needed they can obtain sound advice.
Apart from the sterilizations, these projects present an ideal opportunity to offer education to the community about animal welfare and its associated benefits to human health and well-being. And where better to start than in the classroom?
Môre kinders, my naam is Renée en dit is Janine. Kom ons gee 'n lekker môre vir mekaar. Môre kinders. Môre en Janine. Dit is lekker. Ja, en dit is om te sê dit gaan goed met my en ek is lief vir julle. Nou, sterilisasie. Julle onthou vir ons my naam was. Baie slim. En die benefit, wat is die voordele vir 'n dier? As hy gesteriliseer is, hy's gesonder.
Fantastiese projek wat ons gemeenskap aan die hand gevat het. Tot groot voordeel was omdat die troeteldiertjie wat hulle het, waar baie van ons miskien nie weet hoe om hulle te hanteer nie, het gekom en vir ons aan die hand gevat en ons gewys en die proses van sterilisasie gewys hoe die troeteldier tot voordeel van die eienaar kan wees en omgekeerd natuurlik hoe die eienaar kan omgee vir die troeteldier en hoe hulle twee saam verskil kan maak in mekaar se lewe.
Unfortunately, all these projects really costs money. It's one of the realities in our world. And we have opened our own charity shop that does very well. But obviously with more funding one can just simply do more work. our capacity increased on an exponential basis. And whereas we could initially do 20 animals per month, we are now having a capacity of about 2,000 per month.
Die sterilisasie het baie goed gewerk. Die mense kan nou hulle diere baie beter versorg. Ons het nie meer diere wat met die wurmprobleme sukkel nie, want almal is ontwurm toe hulle hier gewees het. Want die mense het dit voorheen ook nie gedoen nie. Hulle het blykbaar nie kennis gedra ook dat hulle dit moet doen, dat dit gesondheidsredes 'n goeie ding is om te doen nie. En die afname in die wilde katte het ook afgeneem. Dit is ook 'n baie goeie ding vir ons. Wat die sterilisaties gemaak het, dit het die mense bewus gemaak daarvan dat hulle die diere na 'n veearts kan vat as hulle in die toekoms, en dat hulle nie nodig het dat die diere so moet aanteel en 'n las moet word vir hulle nie. Ons soek net 'n raad nog met ons donkies, want dit is ook nog 'n geweldige probleem hier by ons. As ons die projek ook kan kry waar die donkies ook verminder kan word, dan gaan dit ook vir ons baie help.
There are almost 300 feral donkeys in the area, causing considerable damage to the veld, the gardens, and polluting the local water supplies. Dr. Roos is already in communication with the community elders with a view to arranging a donkey sterilisation program within the next few months. Research has indicated that in order for population management control to be effective, at least 70% of the community's pets and their feral counterparts need to be sterilised. In the course of this 6-month project, a total of 360 animals were sterilised, representing 92% of the overall population. There'll be a long-term follow-up programme, which, due to the very isolation of the area, should produce some conclusive results as to its efficacy. So what is it that inspires this dynamic vet and her team to undertake such comprehensive projects?
We want to do it because it's impossible to do them. And we want to do it because it's only impossibility that stretches reality.